Hello, this is Sharon Robertson Jones coming to you all the way from Gary Taft, Texas. I'm in the home of the Calloways. Some of you may remember the Calloways, Miss Sally Calloway, who was the midwife, but we'll get off into all of that later on. But I want all of you guys, we have the Calloway family, and I want you guys to introduce yourselves.
I'm Gonzalez. I'm the youngest of 12. Cheaper by the dozen, as my mother used to say.
I'm Bryant, number 11.
Number 11?
I'm Andrew, and I'm number 10.
Number 10, 11, and 12, okay.
And I'm the 9th.
Okay.
Who are you?
Me, Consuelo. Better known as Sue Ella.
Okay. And who is that beside you?
Joseph.
Joseph.
And he's a
In-law.
Brother-in-law.
brother-in-law. I know Reverend Smith. Okay, and the one who wasn't going to say anything, what's your name, sir?
My name is James Calloway.
James Calloway.
Right. I'm the seventh child.
You're number 7.
Yes.
So we have 7, 9, 10, 11, and 12.
Okay.
That is awesome. Okay, we're going to get started. Okay, growing up in Gary.
Oh.
So that means, Mr. James, you're the oldest here.
Yes. Oh no. Okay. Yes, ma'am. I'm the oldest.
Okay, you're the oldest here. What kind of challenges did you see growing up in Gary?
What challenges?
Mm-hmm.
Poverty. Poverty. Poverty.
Poverty.
Poverty. Poverty.
But that was everywhere. Why do you say you grew up in poverty? Because it looked like you guys really had it going on out here.
Looks of the seamen.
Okay.
We were pouring dirt.
Okay. Do y'all agree with that? The rest of the family?
We was rich in spirit.
You're rich in
May I,
spirit?
may I make a suggestion here?
Yes, sir.
Now you asked all of these, everybody in here, right?
Uh-huh.
But one thing, that, since I'm the seventh child,
Mm-hmm.
right, I forgot to bring it in. I'm kind of the dividing line
Okay.
between the older siblings and the younger siblings. And their experiences here in Shady Grove was like night and day from our experiences in Shady Grove.
Okay. And why do you say that?
Because when I grew up, we was extremely poor, seriously,
Mm-hmm.
okay? But by the time I finished high school and left home, went in the Army, and my older siblings, right, that we started sending money back to the younger ones
Okay.
and my mother, so they had far more resources when these was growing up than when I was. Another thing is, mother had loosened the reins, right? Us older kids, we couldn't do this, we couldn't do that, we couldn't, right?
Uh-huh.
But they Gonzalo, when he was in 9th grade, he probably driving the bus or something.
Okay.
You know, I didn't have my driver's license until after high school,
Okay.
right? Brian, same way.
So the older ones basically struggled,
Come
while
on.
the younger ones, y'all help support them.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. Okay.
But it was only up to a point. 'Cause I remember one winter, he's talking about poverty. I can remember this vividly. There was a winter we spent, and every day you knew what you was going to eat. It was dried black-eyed peas with bugs in them. And whoever ate the most meat, ate the most peas, ate the most meat.
Most bugs.
Because you ate the most bugs. But that's still a dividing line. Because I was real young. I probably was in about the 2nd grade, something like that, with that memory. I only picked cotton twice in my life. And I was 2nd grade. You know. So they did a lot more than we did. And plus the fact, by the time James left, that's around President Kennedy's time. And you know, they came out with the summer jobs. Sue and Jean, they worked summer jobs, brought money into the house. You know, worked outside the house. From James up, none of them worked outside the home. They had to work in the field or work in somebody else's field. You know, so that's the real divider right there, around 60, 62, 63, 64.
And speaking to that, I recall that at Southside, which was the elementary school, being hungry.
Yeah.
And my baby sister there, she'd give me her last cookie, she would go hungry before me. And so it wasn't to the degree that James and them had it though, because I've heard some of their stories. Being the youngest, you know, I remember getting chewed out by my older brother because I busted the last egg. I'm being nosy and dropped the egg down. I pulled the egg off the counter thing and it busted his last egg. And you know, when you're a grown man, because my brother was 20-something at that time, and he wasn't too happy with his little baby brother. You know, so we had some good times.
Okay.
But-
So what are the? I'm sorry.
No, but with me being between the boys, I had it good. I mean, really, and I would get money from my daddy, go in his pocket, and then make a distribution. I did from my mama and my young brothers. I tell you, I was glad to be raised with the boys.
And with that in mind, she'd go in my daddy's pocket to get the money to go around, right?
Okay.
Well, when I grew up, my daddy wasn't here.
So
He was somewhere. I
he
don't know
was
where.
working the field.
He was somewhere. He wasn't here.
Okay.
He didn't sleep here. I say, what, 10%, 5% of the time?
So is this the house y'all grew up in?
No.
This
Oh,
was
okay.
a replacement house.
Okay.
You know.
It was the house we grew up in about this size.
Okay.
Yeah, up until what, 67
Okay.
when we built a new house.
It was a ghostly house.
Yeah.
What do you mean ghostly?
It had some strange things.
Okay.
Strange things happened in that house that was ghostly because you couldn't explain it.
Okay. Did y'all build the house or y'all moved into that house?
We tore that house down.
No, that
Is
was
that true? Okay, for the older ones. Is that true? Or was it their imagination?
From the time I finished high school to the time they finished high school, I think they built, because my daddy moved back when I was in about the 11th grade.
Okay.
And from the 11th grade on back, they did a lot of work. Me, I was too little when I was 5 feet 2 inches tall when I finished high school. This bitty fella. They was that size they are right now. Okay? Can you see the difference?
Yes. Okay. Okay, so what are the core values of the Calloway family? And don't forget to use the mic. What are the core values?
Family and teamwork.
Family and teamwork. So give me an example.
Well, we had to burn wood for cooking, heating, and washing. And we was down in them bottom cutting a lot of wood when the weather permitted. And we go in the woods and cut trees down and cut them up and haul them out with a wagon and mule team. And but we still have to. One of my mother's favorite sermons was, "Y'all take care of each other."
Mm-hmm.
So you go together and come together.
Okay. Someone else. What's you?
I was a little mission boy.
Meaning?
Everywhere you saw my mama, if she was taking one of the little kids, she would take me around through the community for a circle meeting, they call it. And you know, they used to call me her little mission boy. All that.
and that's why he's spoiled to this day.
Okay, but did y'all help spoiling them?
No,
Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they did.
I
I
did.
didn't.
You did?
I didn't.
There
How
was
many
no-
girls were there?
6 and 6.
6 and 6.
Oh, 6 and 6?
But I was
It
with
was
the
a
boys.
boy 5 girls.
Okay.
And then the bottom half, it was 5 boys and 1 girl.
Oh wow.
I was so happy to be raised with the boy. Woo, thank you, Jesus.
So were you a tomboy?
Yes, ma'am.
Did
All
you do
the way.
But I
whatever?
was real feminine along with being a tomboy.
Okay. So you went to Southside School
Yes, ma'am.
all the way, or did you go to
All the
Turner
way,
at all?
all the way. Turner.
Eighth grade.
Mhm.
9th grade.
Went to ninth grade.
Ninth grade and turned 4.
Yeah. The 8th grade, moved to Turner High.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. Can you give me, since you're the only female here right now, can you give me some of the challenges you may have faced with all the boys, since you were the only girl and the 5 boys in the
It
second
didn't
half?
matter. We worked hard. I worked just as
You
hard
were,
as the boys.
did she?
She
Yes.
tried. I'll give her that credit. She tried.
Yeah.
But she just couldn't do what boys do. But she would get in there
Oh,
and
so
try.
you say we can't do what y'all do?
No.
Okay.
Not
I
that
haul-
kind of lady.
I hauled
not what we were
hay.
doing.
18 cents a bale. I hauled hay. I meant
She was
and
trying.
the horse. You know, I rode horses and all that good stuff. I cooked. Make sure we all ate.
So did you have to cook for all the boys? or did
I
everyone
started
cook?
cooking at 7 years old.
Everybody.
At 5 years old. At 5 years old, we would stand on the stand. And the first biscuits wasn't so good, but then I learned after that. I should.
Understand? You notice the conversation between me and all of these. Really, that's important.
Yeah.
Okay.
She says she started cooking at 5 years old, right? The key thing that she said is she started cooking. She had something to cook.
Okay.
Me, we ate bread and gravy most of the time.
No, for real?
For real.
For real.
Okay.
For real, yeah. And then you heard them talking about the peas and the weevils and stuff like that's what we had to eat. I mean, I'd say 75% of every meal I ate while I was here at Shady Grove, right, was bread and gravy.
Y'all didn't have, because there's a lot of farmland out here, right? Y'all didn't have a garden or anything
I
like
hated
that?
I
Yeah.
hated it. We had gardens.
Yeah, we had
We
all of
had
that.
the fields, okay? We did fields.
Okay, so y'all didn't eat chicken?
But you can't eat up all your chickens, but you gotta have some eggs.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And we all grew up farming.
Okay.
I think we stopped farming when I was probably when Andy left. So I was probably in about the 10th grade, 10th or 11th grade when we stopped literally farming. And that's why I hated coming home right after school, because we had to go to the field.
Had so many chores.
And you had to get everything, you know, the first crop was for canning and trying to keep something for the winter, but you probably gonna run out before the winter's over.
So when did you do your homework then? Like for school?
You know what? Honestly, I think most of us never really did homework.
I did. But compared to the homework today, I didn't.
Yeah.
Well, they don't do homework.
Because I was, quote, smart,
Yeah.
and I didn't really have to do any
That's
studying.
do a lot of.
Okay? And it kicked me in the butt when I got to
Yeah.
college,
Yeah.
because I didn't know how to study.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know, we would find time to do whatever little homework that we had to do. But most of the time it was you were working and shoot, you was tired going, you had to go to bed because you had to get up early to go milk the cow.
And another
Okay, so
thing,
what was-
as far as the homework is concerned, they may not remember it, but like, you see that light up there?
Mm-hmm.
Well, what we used to do is have one light and it was on the floor, in most cases, or on the kitchen table. Had a light and we just circle around that one light. That's what we had to study by.
Coach, kerosene lamp.
A kerosene lamp, yeah.
No electricity.
No.
Nope.
Outhouse?
Our
Yeah.
house, yes.
To what year?
Till probably
Mid-60s.
67.
Since 67.
Oh, that wasn't too bad.
After I was
though.
gone,
Yeah.
I was gone.
You were gone.
Yeah. We didn't have electricity
Mm.
when I graduated from high school.
I had
We
a
didn't have
And
TV.
you graduated 63?
gas stove until about, what, 64?
So what was it? Wood burning?
Wood burning.
Now, did you cook, since you being the youngest, did you cook on the wood burning stove?
Well, I helped Sue because I was at that branch over age that Sue would show me, when she wasn't burning me up. But
I learned though.
but no, Sue, like James said, we younger crew, we had more to work with
Yeah.
than he and the older crew had.
Okay.
And so I recall memories of certain things, but actually of the older kids, James was the oldest one that I remember because I was about 8 when he left home.
Mm-hmm.
And Andrew and Gene, which is our older brother that got killed, he he was the big brother when we did the turnover.
But I think one of the family core values
Mm-hmm.
is the fact that we were taught a good work ethic.
Well, and I was wondering if James felt obligated to send money back home.
I did.
Yeah.
You felt obligated, but
I did.
It
I
wasn't.
didn't feel obligated.
It wasn't an obligation to say you got to do it.
Mhm.
It was an obligation because of the situation.
Yeah.
He just felt like, look, and like Andrew said earlier, take care of each other.
Mhm.
And as the older kids left, they were always concerned about home. Probably because the way they grew up, but we all did it when we left home. It was the way we grew up. A good work ethic. All of us, I can't think of any of us that had trouble keeping a job.
Okay.
And most of us have careers. Whereas, and always have something to give.
That's what
As
I want.
poor as we was, you were not going to come to my mama's house and she not give you something
That's right.
when you leave. She's going to have something to give you.
That's right.
I don't care if it's a bar of homemade soap. I don't care if it's a can of pickles that she canned, preserved. She's going to give you something when you leave her house.
Okay, well, I'm hearing all the good stuff, but who was the baddest child?
All of them.
All
All of y'all couldn't have been bad. What kind of, okay, define your badness. What happened?
we was just mischievous. We didn't do anything to get us in trouble with the law. Okay? And we did all the dumb stuff that everybody else did. The good law was just blessing us.
Give me an example.
The worst whipping I got, that I can remember that I got, was me and my sister, my 2 younger sisters, other than Sue, stole a thing of peanuts from Uncle Connie. We was right
Well,
in
that's against the law. If you stole it, that's against the law.
Well, it ain't against the law if you stole it from the field.
Well, we stole it in the field,
Okay.
and we ran around the thing there and ate them peanuts. And that was one of the biggest whoopings I got because I ate them peanuts.
How did they know you did it?
Because
They
Aunt Jane saw us when we stole the peanuts.
And she told.
And she
Told Mom.
told Mother about it.
Okay.
And Aunt Jane, she had a way of communicating with Mother because we didn't have a phone or anything like that. And Aunt Jane used to put a baby diaper on her porch, and that means silent stop. I got something to tell you.
What? Okay, so that was a signal.
Yeah.
That was a signal. And
Not
Mother,
using a cell phone, but a diaper.
a diaper. And Mother would walk by. She knew everything that happened that day that Aunt Jane done told her. Some of them was lies.
And some of it was.
Some of it wasn't. But regardless, it was true coming from Aunt Jane because we couldn't call a grown person a liar.
Okay. Okay, Miss Sue, did you get any with
I got one whipping that I can remember. 16 years old.
Okay.
Okay, just sitting on the porch, looking at bananas. You looking at the moonlight, huh? And boy, that switch, that don't make sense.
So you got a whipping for just looking?
Sitting on the porch.
Were you supposed to be doing something?
Nothing. I was just 16 years old.
I mean, were
She
you
ain't
supposed
telling
to
the
be
whole
cooking?
story.
Okay,
She
that's
ain't
all.
telling the whole story. She
Okay,
dated
tell the story.
this boy had come to see her,
Oh, okay.
and we was building that new house in
Did
front of
you
the
know?
old house, and it wasn't
That's the only
finished.
thing I
So
can-
they were sitting out on the porch talking
Front porch.
in front of the new house,
Front porch.
which was in the dark at night. The moon was out, and mother came in there and said, "Where is your sister?" And we blurted out real quick. She out there talking to that boy. And mama went right through the house and got that switch and went around there and said, "Oh, y'all looking at the moonlight," and beat my sister back into the house.
In front of the boy?
And he took off up the road. Now that's the truth. See, she was evading
Wow.
the truth.
And she made it seem like she was so
Yeah,
innocent.
yeah, yeah.
I was innocent.
And mother would have given her a room for, because, you know, us kids was around, we be peeping and all that. But mother would have given her a room to court.
I wasn't courting.
Well,
You was courting the boy. Come down here to see
he
you.
was courting you.
I was not. I was
He
not
trying to
courting.
get-
Well, what did he come down here for?
As a ride.
At the dead end of the road. At the dead end of the road, somebody drop him off.
Yeah, that's where it was. That's where it was.
And when he picked him up, he wasn't here. I know that.
Do you need Joe to leave so you?
he already know that.
But
He already.
but the funny part was, mother did her a favor.
Sure did.
That boy could not spell
He
"in."
was dumb as a rock. Oh, we ain't calling no name. But he was dumb as a rock.
But he stayed away for 3 months. He stayed away for 3 months. They got him out of her out of his.
We didn't like him anyway.
We didn't like him.
So that's why y'all told
That's why we
Mama.
told so quick to tell.
Okay. Okay, John.
And the Bonanza she talking about, we were in the house watching Bonanza. on
Yeah,
Sunday
because I'm
evening.
wondering how was the TV outside?
Nah, see, she wasn't
and she on
watching
the front porch.
See how she mixed that up?
Yeah.
And Bonanza came on at 8 o'clock every
Yep.
Sunday night.
That was Daddy's favorite, Bonanza and Gunsmoke.
Okay.
And it was,
We laugh about that today.
We still laugh about it.
That must have been 60 years ago.
At least.
Yeah, but I enjoyed.
Oh, yeah,
I
that's
really enjoyed mixing with the boys. I didn't feel comfortable with my sisters. I didn't.
I did not enjoy mixing with the girls.
Okay, why not?
Can you imagine?
You were the only boy with her girl?
When I was 8 years old, right, my oldest brother left home at 18, right? And that left, my dad was already gone at the time, so that left my mama and 5 sisters. And I'm the oldest boy. Ain't no win nowhere about that.
Did they ever try to dress you up in their clothes?
No, they tried to beat me.
But you were number,
7.
okay, well, were they taller than you?
Everybody was bigger than I was.
So you were the shortest one?
I was the littlest one.
Okay. So was Miss Sally real tall and your dad short? Because I think your mother, I
About
thought
your
she
height. Most about your height.
But my dad was maybe a little shorter than you.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay.
But my dad was the shortest. I was about that much older and taller than him,
Mm-hmm.
right? But you got to understand, when I finished high school, I was 5'2".
Mm-hmm.
When I finished high school, I was the shortest, tied for the shortest kid in my class at 12th grade.
Were you the first one to go into the military?
No,
Who was the first one?
I had an older sister when she was 5 years older than I was.
Back in the 50s then?
59,
59,
Women could join the military?
Yeah.
They called it wax back
Yeah,
then.
Women Army Corps.
Oh, that's interesting. What did she do? She didn't fight, of course. She wasn't on the line.
No, but I mean, I don't remember that. I mean, I remember her being in the military.
Hmm.
But as far as what she did and all this stuff, I wasn't interested in.
Okay, that's it. Women, what is it called again?
Wax.
WAC,
Wax.
WAC, Women Army Corps.
Oh, okay.
See, they stopped the WAC Corps in 73, 75 when they did the switch over. And my wife was a WAC,
Really?
and she joined.
Huh.
Yeah. There was only certain jobs they could go into. Now they pretty much open. You know, all the jobs.
But pretty much all the guys were in the military?
All but the oldest brother.
All the ones.
All but those. Okay. That's interesting.
And see, James was our, he didn't think he was instrumental, but James was our roadmap off the farm.
Okay.
Because when he went in, we just lined up right behind him. We kind of went on in based on the years. And I remember as a kid when James would come home and leave, I would look at my big brother, boy, and all I wanted to do was be in the Army just like him. Like, get off this farm.
Was that your greatest motivation?
Well, it gave me a goal.
Okay.
Because success was no option for me. I had to be successful in whatever I did. But I saw what James, he'd come home, Maceo, he came home, Andrew would come home, Bryant would come home, and all of them was successful.
Mm-hmm.
And so that, you know, it was an easy path for me to follow. And I followed James for 24 years, basically, because he was the guy that I could always talk to. I had two rules. If I wanted the complete truth, I would definitely go to my mother, because she, it might hurt, but she was going to tell you to the best of her ability the truth of whatever I presented to her. And she would say, I'll never lie to you and know it. That was one of her philosophies. And James, if it was ever a military issue, and he got me out of a few scraps in the military just by giving me the knowledge of how to handle a scrap. And so if it was military, I could go to any of my brothers that was my age, but James was the one that I would go to in most cases, because he knew I was kind of wild and weird and leery, do crazy stuff, and he'd always say, "Well, it's Calloways," and that was like, chill. Let me tell you how I can help you. In my mind, that's what I can tell you.
Okay. I'm going back to the witness, and then we'll go on to the things about your parents. What are they most proud of, you would believe, today? But Miss Andrew, what was the worst whipping you got?
But the worst was,
And for what?
well, myself and my brother Gene had an altercation, and I thought I was tough as any of them. But so we got in a spat, and my daddy went out and got some switches and came back and gave us 2 switches apiece and told us to whip each other. Now, and I thought that was the most barbaric thing I could have ever heard. But we whooped each other with those switches until the fight broke out again. And that wasn't no fun. He said, oh boys. He broke it up. And but that was one of my worst.
So the whipping that your brother gave you, not your father.
Yeah, we had to whoop each other because we were fighting.
Do y'all remember that?
I've heard about it.
I remember that.
Okay.
And see, the way it is, you try not to really whoop each other until one hit one too hard.
And then
And then
that's
it's
on the
on.
fight. Okay. Okay, your turn, Mr. Bishop.
I don't think I have a worse whooping. Because I always say, my mama whooped you because she just had a right arm.
Y'all think that?
She just felt like God invented right arms to whoop children.
And she
And
testified to that
used
too.
it.
She
said,
said,
"Long as
baby, I got a
good right
strong
arm.
right arm.
Y'all gonna act right." That was her favorite word.
But do you feel that you, well, no,
I
most
probably
kids
deserve
don't feel
most
like
of
they
it.
deserve
No, I probably
but
deserve most of it.
what was one of the baddest things you did?
One of the
That he can put on camera.
No, I think you know what I think about it. I said probably when I was about 17 years old, and it wore my mother out. Cause at that time I refused to cry, and she was whooping until you cried. And she whipped, and I just gritted my teeth, and I was not gonna cry.
Tears didn't come down?
Tears, not a tear came.
You didn't say, Toby?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope. I was not gonna cry
Huh.
until she got tired, and I could look in her face and tell she was tired. And I said, I better drop a tear. That's what I said to myself. I said, I better come up with a tear, because on her face, and she was flat, give out.
But what did you do?
I didn't do nothing. I just, a tear came up. Oh, she was.
No, what did you do to
I think
deserve-
I remember I was in the kitchen, and she came in there and fussed at me about something. I probably washed the dishes or something. And she was, I don't think she was really upset with me, but she was upset. And I just happened to be in the front of it. So the little thing I did, whatever it was, I can't remember what it was. And she said something, and I probably said a smart word, and it was on. And I made up in my mind I was not going to cry. And she whooped me till she got tired.
Wow. See, I learned early just cry.
She broke up all her switches, and I think it was a stick over there. She picked up the stick.
Wow. Did y'all have to go and pick out your own switches and stuff?
Yeah, and you better got a good one too.
Okay. Okay, last one. Did you tell me your story already? Your worst?
Well, first of all, I got to give my mama some grace, because we as kids approached my mom after I turned, and I'm the youngest, but after I turned about 26, most of us was home, and for just to visit. And we got around in the living room, and we was talking, and we told Mother, we said, Mother, you know they used to lie on us. Now you know they used to lie on us to get us a whooping, because all they had to do was say they did it, regardless of whether we did or didn't. And Mother, and so we all kind of double team, quadruple team her and said, now you know that they used to lie. And Mother said, yeah, I know. You knew, and you still gave us a whooping. And she was just a chuckling away, because her little belly used to kind of, when she chuckled, instead of laughing, she said, yeah, baby, I needed them to help raise y'all. I needed those adults in my life, because it was 12 of y'all. And I needed those eyes. She said, oh, by the way, you know that y'all did some things that you didn't get a whooping for. And no, we didn't. And she named a few of those things that she recalled that she spared a few whoopings. And, okay, Ma. So she, we got what was equal. It equaled out.
Okay.
Now, the worst whooping I got, I learned from it. One of the worst whoopings I got is I was in first or second grade, and I couldn't spell quack.
Okay.
And Mother was patient with me. And I use this lesson today with my kids, well, previous. That Mother said, baby, you can do it. And she sit there and tried her best to coach me through it. I couldn't learn it. But she said, okay, now you don't want me to get on here. So she got on my butt. I could spell quack backwards as fast as I could forward. and I mean, that was a good whooping. The next day I got 100 on the test, because she got through the butt and got to the head that way. The only other whooping I got, it was multiple whoopings. My aunt was babysitting me, and she stayed about 300 yards away, and she made me mad, and I left, and I came home by myself, and they was looking for me, couldn't find me, and because I was here at the house, and when they found me, my mother gave me a whooping, and she let my aunt whoop me, and then I messed up and told her I'm gonna tell my daddy. She gave me another whooping and said I'm gonna give you something to tell him. And then daddy came home, and I was a dumb butt, and I told him, and he gave me a whooping, and then she gave me another whooping. So I got about 5 or 6 whoopings over one event.
Wow.
And that was a lesson.
CPS would have had a party here, huh?
Okay. They didn't want us.
Okay, so we're talking about that, but what are some of the things you think your parents would be proud of?
Teaching us how to work. I'm telling you. And go to church.
Well, there was 2 things. I think 2 things they were most proud of. My mother didn't get her GED until after Gonzalez graduated.
Okay.
So that would have been in 74.
Okay.
No, he graduated in 74.
Between us.
Can you speak in the mic?
It was after I graduated, but before he, so it was 73.
The year before.
73, right? My dad had never graduated high school. But two things my mother always bragged about. We all graduated high school, all 12 of us. And she never had to get a single one of us out of jail.
That is a testimony right there.
Now, those 2 things she often mentioned up until she was an old lady. She said, I never had to go to the jailhouse to get neither one of you, and all of you finished high school.
And she was able to go on a tour to the Holy Land.
Yep. And she traveled a lot because of her kids.
So y'all got together and sent her to the Holy Land?
Yep. Or she
I
would.
wondered how did she get there. I remember the pictures in one of y'all.
Yeah.
She got that from the Holy Land.
Oh, this picture right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I think those 2 things was the most things that our parents was really proud of. Because the average family with that many kids, not 12 of them finished high, not all 12 of them, and that was just kind of the way things were. But she was really proud that all her kids graduated high school and she didn't have to get nan one of them out of jail.
Well, what would you want your people to remember the Calloways by? What is something that y'all are most proud of the Calloway family? Because that's your mom who's proud that you guys graduated from high school and none of y'all went to jail. But what are y'all as he answered his phone?
Nope, we're going to cut it off.
I think 2 things that they're most proud of
Mister, can you give him the mic?
is we had a work ethic, all right, and we was taught to be the best we could, be the best we could be. That's one thing. And my mother insisted on us getting an education.
Yep.
Now, one thing we worked and all this stuff, but we didn't miss many days out of school for nobody.
Okay.
I don't care. We might have worked before school and after school, but we went to school.
That was a must.
Okay, so that brings up another question. What about when you were sick?
What's it?
Like, sick from school?
Well, now you got to understand. You got to understand. When I was in the 4th grade at Southside Elementary, I got sick. I got sick with the polio. Okay, and I run around there for Southside for a month with a headache because I had the polio and nobody knew what it was. And then finally they figured out what it was, and then they sent me to Shreveport for a week, because of the polio. But that's the only time I remember getting sick, and not. My mother had all kind of remedies at home
Yeah, I was wondering if y'all had some concoction.
And she used them, yeah.
Yep.
Cow chip tea?
Cow chip tea,
Corn shuck
corn
tea.
shuck tea.
Okay, I never heard of the corn tea.
Yep.
Yep. Corn shuck
Then
tea.
we had, that was another one with some little beads on it, with grass. It's a weed. It had little beads on it, and mother make a bead around it, and she could boil them and make tea out of them and stuff like that.
Okay, for those younger people who are on here, we have quite a few people on here. Tell them what cow chip tea is.
Cow shit, T. That's about the quickest.
No, but
simple
if a cow manure is soft when it hit the ground, but after a while it dries.
Right.
You just sit there in the sun, it'll dry,
Right.
right? And actually, in the old day, they used it to burn in stoves.
Yep.
Yep. That once it dry, it'll burn like wood.
hmm
So you get that, put it in cheesecloth, which is most of the time a diaper, because back then it wasn't disposable diapers, right? You put it in that diaper, put it in hot water, and make a tea out of it.
Did y'all know what you were drinking?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we had together.
And then,
Yeah, we had to get to go get the cow chip.
and every fall, it was mandatory for your mama to get a big old tablespoon of castor oil. Every spring, a
Yeah.
big old tablespoon of castor oil.
Now I can see the castor oil.
And cod liver oil. I got whoopings for not liking cod liver oil. It just made me throw up every morning. Every morning out the door. Every morning out the door. And I would throw up, and Sally would have to whoop my behind for me to swallow cod liver oil. That's a nasty mess.
And you didn't skip school.
You didn't skip school.
I have documents of my perfect attendance, and I remember one year I missed 2 days out of school. One day I was really sick in 1971, and on a Saturday, on a Saturday that my brother had passed away from a car accident, we had to go. School was mandated for us to go to because of some of the winter weather. And that was one of the days that was a makeup day, the day that they had his funeral. And so that was 2 days of that year that I missed because you just didn't miss school. If you missed school, Sally knew. Somebody was going to tell her.
So none of y'all skipped school.
You didn't skip school.
Well, I can't say that.
Okay.
No.
He didn't get caught.
I skipped school a lot.
No, I
A
didn't.
lot?
When I was at Turner, I skipped school.
What
a
were you
lot.
doing when you skipped?
Roaming around Carthage, over on across the tracks. It wasn't that bad then. It was pretty bad, but it wasn't that bad. I could kind of knew which places to go, and then I might show up for a half a day. And I got good at signing my mama's name.
Did she? Well, apparently she didn't know.
She didn't know.
So, Mr. Brewster or none of them
None of
ever
them told.
said
Mm.
anything?
Because I had got pretty good at it.
But your teachers,
They didn't say nothing.
that's interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And we were segregated at that point.
At that point, yeah. I was at Turner.
Were you smart? Very
Yeah,
intelligent?
pretty smart. Yeah. That's why I say I never really did a lot of homework.
Okay.
If I went to class every day, I can bypass your test.
But you said you skipped, so.
I know it. But that means
He missed a question here
I
or there.
may miss,
Okay, you know where I'm going with this. Okay, what girl were you going to see?
no girl in particular.
Just hanging out. How did y'all date back in the day?
That's a trade secret.
It's a trade secret. Because y'all related to everybody around here. Like, so, who did y'all date?
But the thing was, now, just because we lived here, there was times when we hitchhiked from out there on 59 to Carthage. And I had a classmate that was, to this day, if it wasn't for that young man, I don't know where I'd be. He had transportation, and he would always give me a ride to Carthage, or if he saw me up at Carthage at night, he would always give me a ride back. He never worried about charging me nothing or embarrassing me. He was always dressed nice, and I had all these regular clothes on and all this stuff, and he never poke fun at me or nothing like that.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Well, Andrew was mine and Bryant's salvation.
Okay.
Because Andrew bought him a car before he went in the army, or while he was in the army, and me and Bryant was still at home, and he had a '67 Malibu.
Okay.
Now, I think Andrew, in a roundabout way, kept us from fighting, because he left the car here for Mother and said, y'all can drive it, but Mother got the keys. So if we got in any trouble, we couldn't drive. So Brian and I,
That's when he left the car. He was in Germany.
he was in Germany, and so while he was in Germany, we was on our best behavior. He go visit his girlfriend on Sunday. I go with him and hang around in the community. Then we leave there, and I go to the other side of the county or next county, and I see my girlfriend. And that's the way.
And it worked for us.
It worked for us because we and Brent would never let nobody mess with me, so I was in good shape.
And then you got to understand. See, you hearing them talk, right?
Yeah.
See, I was in the Army, and I bought a brand new '67 Camaro, and I got orders to go to Vietnam. But I couldn't take the car to Vietnam. And my mother, as long as I can remember, she had never had a good car. Okay? And I said, okay, I'll let my mom keep my car while I'm in Vietnam. And I understand, I wasn't around here, but I let my mom keep about 6 to 9 months or something like that. But I just heard that my younger ones just had a field day driving my car all over Panola County.
In several counties.
See what I mean? And I didn't find this out. Now, since I moved back to Panola, to East Texas.
Oh, you just found
I
out.
just found out over the last, say, 10 years. They had a field day off of my car. Ain't that right?
Yeah. See, the difference between them, from him up, they never had extra money. I mean, they worked.
Never.
All the money went, all the money went to mama. All the money went to the parents. They never had extra money. Well, from Sue down, we worked. We gave mama some money, but we always had our little money. We didn't have to worry about gas money. We didn't have to worry about party money. We had our own little money. It might not have been but $25, but $25 gets you a long way back, 50 years ago.
Yeah.
17 cents a gallon, 18 cents.
Yeah, so we didn't have to worry about, Mom, I need some money. Dad, I need some money. We didn't have to worry about that. We had our own little money, and we were making enough money to think about it. If you got him working, me working, Sue working, Andrew had left, that's 3 people still in the house working. And so Mama's making a little bit of money off of us.
Yeah.
So, we can get by with, hey, we need a little money here. And so she didn't mind because we bringing in the money.
Okay.
Us 3 together brought in more money than she did.
I never did hear Mr. Andrews say anything about dating.
I was beat up on.
You were doing what?
Girls didn't like me.
Give him the mic. He's saying that girls didn't like him.
So I had long curly hair, and everybody talked about my hair. Now, look at him. He think he's something. And another thing, I was a habitual reader. I'd have 2-3 books on me just about at all times. And on a break, I'd sit down by a tree or whatever and read. I was hooked on reading for years. And sometimes I could remember entire books, cover to cover, word for word.
Is that true?
Yes. Yes.
So what about dating? Because I know you have a son.
Well, they were throwing rocks at me, and I was trying to throw rocks back. I didn't bother nobody, but I didn't allow folk to bother me.
But that ain't about dating.
Same with the girls. It was funny to them, but it wasn't funny worth a damn to me. They throwing pine, green pine cones. Ooh, that thing hit you. It hurt. It might draw blood too. But no, I didn't. I wasn't a girl chaser, and I didn't like silly girls. I didn't care nothing about no silly girls.
Okay, what are silly girls to you?
They call themselves playing with you, but they trying to hurt you. You know, pinching you and stuff like that.
Oh, that's back in the day. You know, the girl that pinch you like you.
Yeah, they
The
were
girl that
so
treats you
young.
bad like you.
Uh-huh.
The boy that always pick on the girl he really likes her. Yeah, that's high school game.
Okay.
Well, I wasn't too fond of silliness.
Okay.
You know, no. And lies. I can't stand that.
Okay. Miss Sue, you've been smiling quite a bit.
No, I'm fine. No, I mean, really, I enjoy my life. I did enjoy my parents, and
What about dating?
I didn't date.
Nah, that's the truth.
That's the truth.
You see, I'm coming back to that because I wanted to hear this again.
I
Ever
didn't
since that
date.
boy got that whooping and got run off,
I didn't date. I didn't want.
Nobody?
I'd rather be with my brothers. For real.
She didn't date.
she didn't date, seriously.
I know.
But I know that's not an invisible man sitting beside you.
This is
Oh,
this
that's-
is my
No,
husband.
that's adulthood. That's adulthood.
I was
In high school,
was
she didn't
50.
date.
I was 24 when we got married.
Mm.
24, so I didn't date.
And that was in St. Louis.
Yeah.
Mm.
I didn't date.
No, and first of all, I think the boys are scared to talk to her
Because of the
because
brothers.
of that brother there and the other brother
Yeah.
because they was more
couldn't
her
even
age
just- Yeah.
and
wanna
stuff.
look at me.
That was
And,
one
and,
thing.
and they were half scared of Sue too.
No,
They
they
was
wasn't
scared
gonna.
of her too.
If I was around, they wasn't gonna mess with Sue the wrong way.
That's right.
Mm.
I have to say.
And I don't care what they brought to fight with. They better get them something real to fight
Yeah.
with.
I mean, that's the truth. You didn't have to worry about that.
Okay. Mr. James?
What? Oh, that's Tracy.
You keep saying that, but why is that a trade secret?
People have secrets in life.
But I know you dated. Did you like a girl when you were here, like at Turner?
Did I?
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
You should ask him how many.
How many did you like?
A few.
Quantify that.
Well, I mean, yeah.
How would you show a girl that you were interested in her, other than pinching her or hitting her?
No, I didn't pinch and hit on her. Well, that's. They'll leave it like that.
You know, he said he was 5'2". Now, see, that remind me of my mother talking about my daddy. She said he was a little piece of leather, but he was well put together.
I was very angry overcoming that poverty in childhood.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll leave it like that.
Okay, you two, y'all.
Oh, we didn't have no trouble dating. Me and I ran. We ran. I
How
admit,
many years between y'all?
it's
Two
not
or
2
three?
years.
Not
It's
two
not
years.
15 months.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we ran them. I fully admit we ran them. Because we had transportation, we had some money, we had transportation.
And we cooperated.
And we cooperated. We kept curfew. Mama be home by 12, you know. So you can do a whole lot between dark and 12. Sometimes we miss it by 10 or 15 minutes, but not many times. We home by 12.
Okay, so tell me, what are some of your fondest memories here at Shady Grove Tap? Or Shady, is it
Yeah.
Gary Tap?
Yeah.
Gary Tap.
You know, some of my probably fondest memories actually, when I was growing up, like from me down, from me to older kids, there was a lot of kids in this community. We would leave church, Shady Grove Church, and you had about
Did y'all walk?
walk.
Or-
I'm talking about walking back home.
How many miles?
From here to Shady Grove Church is maybe a mile, about a mile.
And
Yeah.
then, you know,
And we would walk through the woods, so that's the shortcut.
Okay.
Trails.
You know, so we would leave church, and you had 15 or 20 kids going, what we call up in the quarters.
Okay.
And you had 10 or 15 kids coming this way, between us, the whites, the champions down here. You know, they all had big family, pretty big families. So it was a lot of kids in this community. And we would go out like on a Saturday evening. We go out up there, what we call Drew Woods Field. The boys would be out there playing football. You know, playing sandlot football. That was the thing. We go down to maybe the champions. Got a good basketball game going. The old goal out there on the dirt. You know, those we did those things too. But ain't no, you know, there's no kids here in this community now. You know, well, there was a bunch of kids in this community, our age.
And I don't
That we
recall
could
any of
socialize.
us fighting. I
And
don't,
we
I
didn't
don't
have,
remember
you know,
us fighting
yeah.
or anything like that.
So half of us kin each other.
Yeah.
Close kin each other. You know? So
Yeah.
we didn't, it wasn't a bunch of ruckus and fighting and all that carrying on. You know? So those were good memories.
I'll tell you one incident that that stays with me. I was 15 years old, and this guy up here, Gary, I can't even call his name now, old man, we call him old somebody, and he had acres and acres of cotton, and he needed his cotton picked. And so the older women in the community particularly would get on the trailer and they going to pick cotton. So I was, I think I was 14 or 15 years old. And I picked 483 pounds of cotton in one day. And my uncle, up here, my mother's uncle, he had my name on the chart when they weigh up at the scales. And because he was the one taught me how to pick cotton, you know, without them things tearing your fingers up and stuff. And the fellow we was picking cotton for, when everybody quit, and he came and he read the chart, because you would chart it. Uncle Connie would chart whatever money, cotton you bring in. And I picked 483 pounds of cotton, and that man couldn't believe it. He said, "That little old boy picked all that cotton?" And they say, Uncle Connie said, "Yes, sir." He said, "Well, hell, let him go back out there and get that other 17 pound of cotton." Say, I ain't never heard of a little old boy like that picking a half a bale of cotton in one day, you know. And that's something that stays with me. And
Did you go back out there?
No, my mother told me, said, "Well, we'll get it tomorrow."
Oh, okay.
And
I didn't know if he was trying to reach 500.
And
You know.
yeah, well, he'd say that's something to talk about. That's where he put it. He said, "That's something to talk about. A little old boy like that pick a half a bale of cotton in a day." And you know, it was all right to hear, but still, you had to come back the next day and pick a whole bunch more cotton. But I was a sickly child, and the next day, my mother didn't let me go. Told the man, "I'm looking out the window because I wanted to go." And the man said, "Well, that little old boy what picked all that cotton yesterday?" And he said, my mother said, "Well, he won't go with us today." And he went to cussing. And he said, "Oh, hell, I'd rather have him than a whole bunch of these old ones here." Said, "That boy can pick some cotton." It's okay. But I didn't go. Mother didn't let me go.
Because he would have expected that of you
Yeah.
each time.
And like I say, I was a sickly child. I was in a lot of pain. I always had headaches, cramps, and I got bathed so many times with liniment with my grandmother. That was her that was her remedy for my condition. I had bad spasms, you know, cramps and headaches and just pain. Yeah. But I was always challenging myself. I know my brother Jim and Gene, when they would go somewhere, "Andrew, you going with us?" And my mother would always tell them, say, "Y'all take care of Amber." And that's what she called me. She said, y'all take care of Amber now. And then she tell me, she said, Amber, you just keep the fire for them so they'll have a place to get warm. And it'd be sleeting or snowing. And we out there cutting wood with a crosscut saw. That was a lot of work. That was a lot of work. There was a lot of work on them mules too.
Yeah.
Y'all had mentioned the mules.
But my daddy said, babe, boys, don't thump my mules. In other words, don't hurt my mules.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's our livelihood. You know.
Okay.
We made ribbon syrup.
Homemade syrup.
Mm-hmm.
The ribbon cane.
Ribbon cane syrup. We had a
sold
syrup
it
mill.
commercial.
Syrup mill right down there.
That was in the tin.
Yeah. That little
Yeah.
can of tin
Uh-huh.
sugar cane syrup.
Yeah.
We made that from scratch.
Do y'all still know how to do it?
I
It's
do.
easy.
I
I
do.
mean, it's really easy.
Do you still do it?
No.
But I can. I can get some sugar cane. I can go to the store and buy sugar cane and make syrup right now.
Okay. Give me a sample. I'm serious.
Oh,
Next
yeah.
time you do it.
Okay, I will.
I don't cook.
Okay.
See, I'm that generation. We didn't have
Oh,
to.
yeah.
Yeah.
We didn't have to.
Well, I'm going to find me some sugar cane. I'm going to cook you out some syrup.
Okay, I want to try
And
it.
it's about this time of the year for harvesting.
You got to.
I remember them on the wagons. Did they used to
Yeah.
go around selling the cane?
Yeah.
Sugar canes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Second weekend in October in Henderson, they have all kinds of sugar cans back.
Okay.
You want me to go get some?
I get some.
Okay.
I get some.
So,
The
I
problem
know you
with-
said you picked cotton only twice.
Twice.
Did you ever pick cotton?
The year that my daddy quit raising cotton or dealing with cotton, the government actually started paying folks not to
Plant cotton.
plant cotton, and
And
recall-
ply up what you already planted. They pay you to do it.
And I recall, well, they because the big cotton farmers in West Texas and all that, they was buying up the allotted amount to keep the balance,
Keep the price of
the
the
price of at a certain
okay.
amount.
Yeah.
But my daddy
It was
said,
price fixing.
he said, I ain't picking no more of that shit. And I was saying, yes, yes.
No, but I picked cotton too, but I would lay on my dad's sack. And when I got it, he would pull me on the sack, and then when he see mother coming, Gary, you better get up. Don't catch me. I sure did.
James, did you pick it?
Of course. Not as much as they picked. Well, not as much as he picked. I used to pick anywhere from about 150, sometimes 200 pounds.
By choice.
That'd work.
Being lazy.
Nothing
What
back
was
then.
the average?
That's about a good.
Yeah.
150
Between
pounds.
100 and 200 pounds.
Yeah, for a kid, that's good.
Okay.
And then you got to understand too, again, I was much smaller than they were.
Okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
Much.
Well, do you feel that being like in the country, did you have a greater advantage than the people in like Carthage or Center, Henderson?
I didn't think so.
You don't think so?
I think
They
in the
did.
long run, it probably.
They did because they was halfway prejudiced of South Side kids that came from South Side.
Now, you know what? I've heard this story before that when people came that were not within the Carthage city limit and they came to Turner, that some of the people would treat them badly.
Oh,
Is
yeah.
that true?
Oh yeah.
The people, Carthage students, Turner,
yeah.
they went to Turner.
Yeah.
Oh, they thought they was the best in the world. They didn't like them country bumpkins out in South Side, West Side, East Side. We was just country bumpkins.
So what would they do?
Oh,
Like-
pick on you, you know.
Oh, man.
Oh, they
Pick
treat you
on
bad, pick on you.
Oh, man.
Yeah, bully
Some
you.
of them went to be bad.
Yeah,
Seriously bad.
yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
So they didn't want you guys coming to Turner, or what was it?
Messing with that girls.
The girls.
And all of that.
Was that it mainly? Probably.
No.
No, that wasn't.
Well,
I
we
don't
were
think that
better.
was it mainly.
We were better students. We would South Side students were disciplined,
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
and the teachers didn't have to raise all that hell trying to get order. You know, but
Well, I remember mostly about, going to First Sunday in August
Yeah.
and how distinctly people spoke in Gary. Like I still have a country, but they sounded like they came from the city.
Yeah, that was kind of common for us out here.
This ain't from.
Yeah. I mean, I would tell, when I was grown, I'd tell people I'm from Texas. They say, you're not from Texas. You don't have an accent.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And none of us speak with an accent. Kind of that Texas drawl. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I think it's because of schooling. We were really taught.
Did they teach y'all that, diction
We were
and
taught
all
proper
of that? in-
English,
Okay.
proper diction. We were really taught that from the first grade on.
Mm.
But we had some tough teachers.
and it just wasn't no family thing. That was a community thing.
Yeah.
Mhm.
You had to respect authority.
Yeah.
Period.
And you had a lot of educators, like Ain't Love,
The business.
the Lilies,
Yeah.
Martha McGee,
Yeah.
that
T.J. Ingram.
right across
I
from
You know.
remember Miss Aquila
Yeah.
and the grocery store.
Lady B.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Miss Mindy.
Yeah.
But then right up the road there, Dwight Lilly and Miss Lilly,
Yeah.
you know.
Did they speak like that as
No.
well?
No, and they would correct you if you weren't speaking correctly.
Because Miss Brewster, I didn't realize she had lineage out here in Gary.
Yeah, Mr. Lilly, Mr. Lilly and her is like first cousins or something like that.
I
And
asked,
Angel Nacy too.
And Lou Nacy too.
well, I asked Mr. Brewster one time, where's your wife from? She told us from. She's from Clayton and Gary. And I said, really? But
And we would correct her. Mom, it's not you is, it's you are. Yeah, I can remember doing that when we was kids coming home from school.
And she appreciated that.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why she went ahead and got her GED.
Oh, she wasn't gonna let me get my high school diploma, her 12th child, before she got her GED.
She was a midwife, and I tell you, man.
Yeah. Okay, y'all have stories about that, and then I'm gonna let you guys go.
Well, I used to carry the bag for when somebody would come pick her up. A woman is in labor. She'd say, Amber, get your bag, come on. And I'd go with her to Woods Post Office area, Clayton area, even over at Deadwood, all over.
Deadwood.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, she went all around, yeah.
She delivered over 300 babies, and she lost one. And she delivered babies from babies she delivered.
Wow. That's interesting.
And Dr. Prince, actually, I think she was under Dr. Prince's tutelage, and she was pregnant with Andrew, and still, from the stories that she told me, she was pregnant with Andrew, and she had Miss Ritter. She had to go basically with Mr. and Mrs. Ritter because she was pregnant, and they had to go to center together. And Mr. Ritter wanted mother there because he knew she was a midwife, and they went to the hospital in center, and while they was at the hospital, Mr. Ritter pulled up to the front of the hospital, and because they didn't have a hospital in Carter, and they looked in the car and they saw my mother there with her big stomach with Andrew, and so they closed the door and told Mr. Ritter to go around to the back.
Because they thought it was her.
They thought it was her, and he went around to the back, and they opened the door and they saw it was Miss Ritter. They said, oh, they went to close the door, Mr. Ritter went off. So his wife ended up going through the back door because of this confusion of whether it was a black person or a white person that was having the thing.
Well, okay, well tell me, what's one thing each of you would want the next generation to know, to learn from you guys?
Get an education.
Get an education.
I would probably say get an education, treat people right, trust in God.
Okay.
I would say I would stick with education and do what you say you're gonna do.
Your word is your bond.
Your word is your bond. You know, and if you can't do it, let them know you can't do it. But do what you say you're gonna do. Keep your word.
But I'm always touched by my mother's counsel in particular. When I left home September 3rd, 1969, she drove me to the bus station. I was headed to Job Corps. And when I got ready to get on that bus, she said, Amber, go with God and pay your own way. And that's my sermon too. And it never left me. Those words never departed from me.
She told him to pay his own way. She told me to carry my own weight.
But it's the same thing.
Same thing.
Yep.
Don't be a freeloader.
Yep.
And it ain't nan lazy Callaway. Not one. All my siblings, it ain't one lazy Callaway. That's a fact.
So that's a legacy that you passed on to your
Yep.
children.
Yep. I used to tell my son, my oldest son, he's in grade school, and I tell him, I said, boy, you represent the Callaway name. So I'm depending on you to keep the Callaway name.
And the thing is, one of us, for some reason, I don't know, everybody except Sue, I think, but everybody, when they finished high school, they left.
Gone.
Yep.
And nobody, I don't ever remember anybody being told it's time for you to leave. They were just ready to go.
Yep.
Yeah.
And not only did they go, that when they got where they contributed back
Right.
to the home place. You know, even out there where we went, we always sent something back home. Rarely did we ever have to call home and say, Mama, you need to send me some money.
I never did.
I never did.
Because we knew they didn't have it to spare.
Right.
And even if we did, it would have been shameful that we couldn't
Yeah.
make it.
Yeah.
And that's being a burden. And we were taught young, don't be no burden to nobody.
Yeah.
If you can't help, have enough sense to get out the way.
Give and it shall be given to you. Good measure pressed down and shall men give to you. So I'm of that persuasion.
Yep.
All right. Do y'all have any last words before we get off of Facebook Live?
No, I mean, that was good. I enjoyed it. You know, it brings back some memories that's good, you know.
I still want to talk about this secret. We have to get that off the tape.
Yeah.
You can handle it. I'm sure you can take care of it.
Well, thank you all. I really appreciate the Callaway family. We do this periodically with families, and this is actually my first one this year. So I appreciate you guys. Yes, you are a pillar of the community. You're stable at Shady Grove Church, and we just love you, and we appreciate everything you've done.
Right.
All
I
right.
appreciate my husband. He didn't say anything, but that's
And another thing, my mother made sure we understood. When you came of age, you registered. Back then, you registered for the draft,
Right.
but you also registered to vote.
Vote.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I remember the
And
poll
you
tax.
went and voted.
I remember the poll tax season. People were hustling with their few pennies to try to get their poll tax paid. And I don't care what came or what went, they got theirs paid and they voted.
Yep.
And I would encourage any and everybody in this nation, when it comes your turn for your voice to be heard,
Vote.
vote.
Like that. Thank you for interjecting that.
And don't believe the lie that your vote don't count. It does.